How do you determine real property value? You'll find out today in Chapter 13. I'm Sean Kelly, and today we'll be covering a ton of questions, like 30 of them, all around property valuation. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit that like button down below as a free way to show your support, and subscribe so you can catch the next few videos coming out. By the way, I have links in my description for signing up for pre-licensing, post-licensing, continuing education, really everything real estate. And I get a tiny bit of commission from the Superior School of Real Estate since I've partnered with them. And many times those links come with discounts as well. So, all right, let's go. Question 1. All of the following characteristics must be present for a property to have value, except utility, obsolescence, transferability, effective demand. So utility means capable of serving a useful purpose. So yes, obsolescence. I mean, y'all grilled me on this word during the general chapter review video because I kept calling it adolescence. So sorry. This is a pretty obvious answer, I feel like. Why would you need something that's obsolete or out of date to have value? You don't need that, so B here is the answer. Question 2. The economic principle of supply and demand states that high supply and low demand equals higher value, low supply and high demand equals lower value, high supply and lower demand equals lower value, or none of the above. So this is just a pure logic or macroeconomics question here. I took an entire college course surrounding supply and demand, and I absolutely loved it. So if supply goes up, that means there are a ton of houses available. If you have a high supply of pizza, it means you have a ton of pizza. High supply of supplies means you have a lot of supplies. So low demand means you only have a few people demanding or wanting something. Low demand of pizza means few people want that pizza. You probably have a lower demand for cheese pizza than you do for pepperoni pizza, because I think most people would prefer pepperoni pizza over cheese pizza. I won't even eat cheese pizza. So if I have a high amount of pizza, I have a lot of pizza available, and a low demand for pizza, so I have a ton of cheese pizza available. I have a lot of it. I have a lot of supply of it. And a low demand for people who want cheese pizza, it means I have a bunch of wasted cheese pizza. It's a lower value then. So A is wrong. Skip to C. High supply of pizza with few people wanting pizza, it's a lower value. C is the answer. High supply of houses, nobody wants to buy a house, means those property values go lower. That was a long answer. Question 3. Which economic principle results in maximizing property value? Supply and demand, substitution, conformity, or competition. So this is a key word, and you'll see another question on this later, but conforming, size, age, quality, etc. actually maximizes the property value. C is the answer here, conformity. Question 4. Value is most closely related to which of the following? Price, competition, cost, or supply? In terms of the answers provided, so one stands out, although is not truly what value means. So I could price my house at $1 million, but that doesn't mean it's truly worth that value, right? So, however, A, price, is going to be the closest answer here. Competition means nothing. Cost is somewhat close, but I can pay for a $50,000 kitchen remodel in a poor neighborhood, and it wouldn't affect my home value. My home wouldn't sell for $50,000 more just because I over-upgraded my kitchen. So supply is close too, but still not really a true factor. Question 5. Which is a curable form of obsolescence? Changes in zoning, unrepaired roof damage, population shifts, or all of the above are curable by the property answer. So zoning can't really be changed, a damaged roof can, and population again can't really be changed. Those aren't curable. B is the answer. You can hire someone to replace your shingles. You can't really go and change zoning, although you can fight for it in town meetings or in a formal request, I suppose, but it's not really curable. Question 6. The value of a half bath is $1,500. The comparable has a half bath, but the subject property, the property you're looking at, does not. So which is correct? Subtract $1,500 from your subject property, subtract $1,500 from the comparable, add $1,500 to the subject, or add $1,500 to the comparable. So the comparable is better than the subject property, right? In this case, the comp has a half bath, the subject does not. Therefore, subtract 1,500 from the value of that bath from the comp. So B is the answer here. Question 7. The basis of market value is most typically which of the following? Value in use, book value, subjective value, or value in exchange. So value in use is derived from the usefulness of the property. It is subjective and not market-based like they're asking here. Book value is used in cars. There is no home book value, I don't believe. Subjective value in its own name says it's subjective, right? It's not based on the market. Value in exchange is market value. It's a keyword. Answer here is D. Question 8. Functional obsolescence results from faulty design and inefficient use of space, changes in the surrounding land use patterns, house on a busy street, or a broken furnace. So obsolescence is relatable to out of date or just not having good design. A, faulty design or a poor use of space. So that's the answer there. Like, have two living rooms has become borderline obsolescence, right? Nobody has that old formal living room. Everybody wants to be there in front of the TV. So, and people also want open floor plans, typically in a room, again, with that TV, with that fireplace, near the kitchen, where everybody can kind of see each other. So not some second place with some old recliners, right? So A here is the answer. Question 9. All of the following are true about the principle of highest and best use, except it must be possible, it must be legal, there is only one highest and best use of a given property at a given time, it is highly speculative. So right out the gate, A and B are true, so cross those right off the list. I would select C myself, if I were to be honest here, because highest and best use for one person may be different than highest and best use for someone else. Just thinking about it from like an investing perspective, I may think a highest and best use is an Airbnb. Somebody else would be like, no, that'd be a great little coffee shop or a long-term rental or whatever. So, but the answer here is D. Apparently it's not speculative. It is matter of fact, right? Question 10. All of the following are approaches to value except cost approach, contribution approach, income approach, direct sales comparison approach. So this is actually really easy memorization here. Cost is a real thing in common. Income is an approach for investments or retail. And so is direct sales comparison. Contribution is the answer here, B. It's a keyword you should know. Question 11. An appraisal is which of the following? Estimate of value, appropriation of value, correlation of value, or determination of value. So A and D here are actually quite similar, but this is the problem with the test like this, right? They're forcing you to memorize keywords instead of logic here. An appraiser does technically give the lender what they determine the value is, but estimate of value is the answer here, A. So sometimes an appraiser is way off from what you comp it at. You can sometimes get another appraiser to give you a second estimate. Question 12. The cost approach is the primary method for appraisal of a shopping mall, courthouse, parking lot, or condo. So cost approach is commonly used when it's a very unique building and like one that doesn't necessarily generate revenue as well. So a church would be an example. What else here is like that? Right? B, a courthouse. Malls bring in money, parking lots are all over the place, so are condos. Plus condos also bring in money, so you can use cost approaches so you could use income approaches and things like that. So courthouse is the answer, B. Question 13. Which of the following is a primary appraisal method for estimating the value of vacant land? Cost approach, direct sales comparison approach, income approach, or appraisal by capitalization? Straight to the keyword here of direct sales comparison approach. This is used for land and for single-family owner-occupied houses. B is the answer here, right? Doesn't bring in income. There's no cost. You didn't build anything on it, right? So there is nothing there that is cost. Question 14. All of the following are important data in the selection of comparables for an owner-occupied single-family house except size, income, location, or condition. So when you comp a house, you look at size, location, usually within a quarter mile or even the same neighborhood if there's enough comps around that area, and condition of the home. You don't look at the income when it's not a true investment property and when there's like-kind comparables around you. B is the answer. Question 15. Which of the following is the income used as a basis for estimating value by the capitalization formula? Monthly net operating income, annual gross effective income, monthly gross effective income, annual net operating income. So when finding cap X, you look at the gross income minus the operating expenses. That gives you the net operating income. Net means what's left, basically. D is the answer, annual net operating income. Question 16. If the potential gross income is $580,000, the net operating income is $480,000, and the capitalization rate is 11%, which of the following will be the estimate of property value? And then you get a bunch of numbers there. So $480,000, like they give you there, divided by the 11% is $4,363,636. They trick you by even including that gross income there because it does not matter in this case. Answer here is C. Question 17. Which of the following is described as the cost of constructing a building of comparable utility using modern techniques and materials? Reproduction cost, operating cost, unit cost, or replacement cost. So similar to the cost approach that we talked about earlier with the courthouse, the replacement cost is how you determine the value in a situation like this. When it's a super unique thing and you have unique building materials and things like that, it's the replacement cost. Question 18. The foundation of the direct sales comparison approach is conformity, anticipation, contribution, or substitution. So conformity is actually pretty close here, but it's still not a one-for-one type of deal. Let's read the definition of the answer, D, substitution. The principle providing that the highest value is established by the cost of constructing another property of equal utility, basically saying you have similar structures you can compare to. Answer is D. Question 19. The result of a CMA performed by a broker on a property being listed is called the probable sales price, appraisal, estimated value, or projected value. When an agent makes a CMA, it is probable sales price. We can tell our client that it'll probably sell for this. An appraisal is that third party finding, so it's not the same. Answer here is A. Question 20. The first step in the appraisal process is to define the appraisal problem, obtain a complete and accurate description of subject property, determine data required for estimate of value, prepare the appraisal report. I don't get the question. Agents don't do appraisals. We're specifically told to stay in our lane, right? We can't do appraisals. Define the problem is the answer, A, but I just don't get it. Define the appraisal problem? Whatever. All we need to do is make sure we get an appraisal and hope that it gets close to what the offer price was. Question 21. All of the following are deductible from gross effective income to arrive at net operating income for appraisal purpose except maintenance, legal fees, replacement reserve, or debt service. So of all of these, debt service is a personal obligation of the property owner. It would be deducted from gross effective income to arrive at cash flow though. So D here is the answer. Question 22. Which economic principle is used in making adjustments to comparables in an appraisal by the direct sales comparison approach? Competition, change, contribution, or conformity? The answer here right out the gate is C. Let's read the definition of that. The principle that for any given part of a property, its value is the result of the contribution that part makes to the total value by being present or the amount that it subtracts from total value as a result of its absence. Answer there is C. Question 23. Adherence to the principle of conformity causes which of the following? Depreciation, minimizing value, maximizing value, or competition. So A and B here mean the same exact thing almost the same exact thing. If a home is depreciating, it's losing value, right? But competition would actually be lower if many similar homes were popping up, but value would be maximized. So C, similar style, size, age, and quality actually uphold the value of an area. Question 24. Physical deterioration is caused by poor floor plan, outdated heating system, repair damage, or no central heating and cooling. So I mean, outdated heating here could be physical if it's like a real issue. You can get mold, which then can start deteriorating some of the foundation and stuff, the wood. Also like baseboard heaters shriveling up like your vinyl floors and stuff like that. But realistically, any unrepaired damage will do here. causes physical deterioration. So C is the answer. 25. All of the following are methods used for estimating replacement cost except quantity survey, square foot, unit in place, quality survey. So quantity, square foot, and unit in place where the cost of replacement is grouped by stages of construction are all replacement cost methods. D is the answer. It's the one that is not. Question 6. In the income approach, which of the following is deducted from gross potential income to calculate gross effective income? Fixed expenses, vacancy rate, other income, or replacement reserve. So gross potential income is the very first level of PIN C, right? The acronym PIN C. Remember? Potential income. So the very first thing you subtract out is the vacancy rate, which is how much you pre-plan for not having a tenant in your house, right? Then you get to E, the effective income. So just like the question says, go from P to E by taking out the vacancy. B is the answer here. Question 27. A CMA may be legally prepared for compensation by a provisional broker who is preparing the report for a lender who is using it to make a final determination of whether to approve a short sale request for another broker. Nope. Appraiser has to do that. A broker who is undertaking a project that will require the use of the cost approach. A provisional broker who is preparing it for a prospective listing brokerage's client. A broker who is preparing the report for a lender who is utilizing it for the purpose of a home equity line of credit. A is a big time no-go. That's an appraiser. The answer here is C, a provisional broker making it for a client. Anything that has to do with the actual financing part of this, a broker cannot do that. It's the job of a third-party appraiser. Question 28. An appraisal is considered accurate for 1 day, 30 days, 90 days, or 180 days. I had a comment on this on one of my videos on this chapter. So an appraisal is for one single point in time. Tomorrow the market can change. Even if it's just a little bit, it still can change. Your neighbor's house can light up on fire. No offense, but a mobile home could be popped up next door or whatever if the zoning allows for that. Or junkyard can come out, right? A value can change in a single instance, right? So a lender will use that appraiser for the full length of the contract until you close, yes, but still it's 1 day in time, right? Answer here is A. The appraisal is basically saying like if it's worth that much right now, it'll most likely be that much when you close in 30 or 45 days, right? They're counting on that. Otherwise they would have to get an appraisal every single day, or at least at the beginning and then the end, and then so many contracts would fall through, right? So 1 day at a time, lenders are good with that. 29. The principle of highest and best use for a property remains the same for the entire life of the property, may change with time, requires that present use is the same as future use, or is used to calculate depreciation. So sometimes a house is the best use, but then the city crawls towards that neighborhood, and that house would be better off as an office space or a coffee shop or something like that. So then the city keeps crawling, and then the office should now be a gas station or a bigger building or office, right? And etc. It just keeps going on. B is the answer. Change with time. Question 30. Which cause of depreciation is not curable by a property owner? Economic obsolescence, functional obsolescence, competitive obsolescence, or D, physical deterioration. So economic can't be curable because it deals with the external factors of the whole economy, or like that city's economy. If the city is losing its population and not bringing in jobs, there's nothing you can really do unless you run for governor, and it's not really curable, right? A is the answer here. Economic obsolescence. Question 31. An appraisal prepared by an appraiser is completed on which form? Competitive Market Analysis, or CMA, Uniform Residential Appraisal Report, also called an URLA, Comparative Market Analysis, competitive, or D, any of the above. Maybe C is the CMA. I don't know. But so B here is the answer. Plus, just know that A and C are the ones that brokers do, right? Not an appraiser. Now, there will definitely be a test question on how to adjust for comparables. It'll give you a situation where there's like one house for $300,000, 4 bed and 5 baths, and then give you a value of a bedroom and bathroom. So you have to figure out like how much your subject house is worth. Review that in the chapter. We didn't really cover that too much in these questions here. Please remember to like this video, and I'll see you on chapter 14 for property insurance. Exciting stuff, am I right? See ya.